बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। तो आज हमारा जो सब्जेक्ट है विद इन द जमात नाशनासी is Dasond. And what we will see at the end of this 30 minutes or so, we'll have different view of Dasond. Completely different view, inshallah. First, think of the time that we are in and the Imam that we have. In his present Jama, in his current Jama, he has not given us a single farman on Dasond. So, a few years back, the leadership asked Imam, Ya Mullah, sometimes Jamaat asks that our previous Imam, 48th Imam, Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to that Imam, he would have given us so many faramin of the Dasond. And then there are a couple of farman where he had mentioned that there will be a day when Dasond will be no more. So give your Dasond today. Once Dasond is closed, even if you come to give me Dasond, I will not take it from you. And Jamaat is curious, and Jamaat asked that how come Shah Karim, our present Imam, does not give us any farman on Dasond? And Mullah said, I have never given you a farman on Dasond. He asked the leaders. He said, Mullah, no, you have never given us any farman on Dasond. He said, have I ever mentioned ethic of Islam? Mullah asked. And leaders say, very often. He said, doesn't Dasond part of the ethics of Islam? And of course they all like. And Mullah said, we need you to go, your leader needs to go, and I need you to read our Dai's book, especially Qazi Noman's book on ethic of Islam. Because in our Dai's books, and part of the ethic of Islam is also, you will see that there are some basic and fundamental principle of the Islam. इसको कहते हैं इलाही शरीयत. What is the difference between इलाही शरीयत and शरीयत नबवी और शरीयत इमाम? इसमें क्या फर्क है? इलाही शरीयत नंबर 1, वो अटल होती है, अनटूट होती है. You cannot change that. It's permanent. अटूट. वो permanent होती है. You cannot change it. What is the शरीयत इलाही? यहाँ इलाही शरीयत. आप रिमेंबर करें मुझे, नमाज पढ़ें. Sorry, start with the good deeds. Good deeds करें, नमाज पढ़ें, ज़कात दें और शुक्र अदा करें. Doesn't matter we are at the time of Adam or time of Khatam, at the time of the beginning or at the time of end. This Shariat does not change. This Shariat does not change. Imam does not have to tell you to do good deeds because there is the Shariat of Ilahi. It's a known fact. आप अपनी दुआ पढ़ें, उसका नाम दुआ है, नमाज है, या जो भी है. Remember Allah. In which name? how, where, and when, that is the Shariat-e-Nabawi, or that is the Shariat-e-Imam. But you have to do it. Zakat दें. Kab, kaha, how much, that is Shariat-e-Nabawi and Shariat-e-Imam. Zakat तो देनी ही है. शुक्र अदा करें. That is the wide subject, open subject, कि किस चीज़ का शुक्र अदा करें. And inshallah we will take that. If you will remind me, we will cover that. लेकिन those are the Shariat-e-Ilahi which is permanent and never goes away. Now Imam does not have to tell us in every Jama to give the sum, or say your dua, or do a good deeds and give shukrana. This is part of the Shariat. Always has been, always will be. कभी दुआ पढ़नी है, कितनी मरतबा दुआ पढ़नी है, कितनी दसम देनी है, कहाँ देनी है और किसको देनी है. That is the Shariat-e-Nabawi or Shariat-e-Imam, depending on which time we are living. If we are living in the time of the prophecy, then Nabi can tell us. And from one prophet to another prophet, that can change. If Adam had told us something, Noah can change it. And if Noah had told us something, Ibrahim can change it. And Musa can change it, and Isa can change it, and Muhammad had changed it. And then our Imams changed the Shariat according to the time and the place. Shariat can be changed two different ways, according to the time and the place. And the example of those are also can be seen even during the time of Prophet Muhammad. For example, so namaz was for us, but if you are riding on a horse, meaning you are in traveling, or if you are in a war, you don't have to give your namaz or do your namaz. Wuzu. If there is no water available, you can use the matti, the dust, to do your wuzu. आपने देखा शरीयत चेंज हो गई. Even during his time, during the time of Shariat, Shariat changed. Meaning Shariat can be changed depending on the time and the place. If that is the case, then Imam can definitely change the Shariat, and he has. We have moved on from 5-time namaz to 3-time dua, remembering Allah every 5 seconds, no longer confined by the time and a clock, and the son or the zakat. So let's talk about the son and zakat. And at the end, if you remind me, we will talk about sadaqah, because somebody was asking about that. Okay, zakat, which is the normal language or the word used in Quran, the zakat that normally calculated, in Quran it doesn't tell you that you need to give this many percent or on what. It just says give zakat. In the Shariat-e-Nabawi, or at the time of the Muhammad, there would be zakat on so many different things and in so many different ways. Meaning if you own camels compared to goats, your zakat calculation will change. If you own horses compared to donkey, your zakat will change, the calculation will change. If you are part of the Arabic speaking or not Arabic speaking, meaning you are a traveler coming from somewhere else, your zakat will change. If you are living in the Islamic state and non-Muslim, then they will call it tax, and the tax will change. If you're living in Islamic state, जो भी उनका जगह दी, मक्का, मदीना, whatever. If all those can be changed within a time period, definitely it can change going forward. So let's just for a second, and then if you guys want to know more detail, there's a book sitting over there. It can give you more detail on zakat, the one in the middle. Okay, so zakat in the Islam is today, I'm just talking about today, is normally given on your saving, not on your income. What does it mean? You make $100, and if your expenses are $99, then you have $1 left as a saving, and you give 2.5% of that, meaning 2.5 cents. That's it. That's your zakat today. If you have that saving, meaning anything and everything that is above your need and the need of your family, and that is your saving, then on the saving you owe zakat, and only 2.5%. Very simple, not only very simple but very small amount that you would have to give. लेकिन इमाम ने उसको चेंज किया. इमाम ने दसों को 10% रखा. दसों का लिटरली मतलब ही होता है 10, 10 का मतलब होता है 10, एंड 1 का जो मतलब है वो है खाना या रोज़ी, जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि तुम्हारी रोज़ी में से 10% दे दो. दसों, ये दसों भी नहीं है, 10 था, फिर आस्ते 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 जाके गुजराती में वो दसों हो गया, क्योंकि वो it changed from Sanskrit to Punjabi and Saraiki into kind of Gujarati, the way we speak today. But remember, it doesn't really matter, we call it Dason or Daswan. The meaning remains the same, the 10th of your risk. जो भी आपकी रिज़्क है, whatever your income is, 10% of that. Now people who's working, have a job, it's really easy for us today. Really easy. You know, you make $100, 12.5%, $12.50, and we are done. Very simple. Because we have a paycheck that comes in, we know exactly how much. It is sometimes hard for the people who does business. In business, it's really hard to tell exactly how much your income is. It's really hard to tell. So let's talk about that for a second. The son is the love toward the imam. And we did not cover the 12.5%. The 10% was for the imam, and the 2.5% was for the peer. Because piratan and imamat are combined today, so we present both of those to the imam of the time, 12.5%. And if we have a business and it's really hard to tell your income, and sometimes it is hard. But if you think of the dason is the love of the imam, love toward the imam. So the more love you give, the more love you will receive in return. It's very simple formula. If you think of the dason as the love toward the imam, then the more you give, the more you receive. It's very simple. So sometimes people do come to us and ask, and especially in some of the majalis where the dason is very strict, then they always have this question, always. And there are different formulas that one can use to calculate the dason. So in business, normally you have your balance sheet and you have your profit and loss statement. Even you may not be taking all the money home, but you still have profit and loss, you know how much money you're making. But sometimes they would say, what about the year that I showed loss in my business? And in business, there are ways to show loss. So how do we give the sum? So my recommendation always is how much money do you bring home for your family? Consider that as your income for that month. End of the month, if you take a chunk of money because you made extra money to put it in your 401k or your children 529 account or in your stock and bonds somewhere saving account, then you know how much you're putting there. You can always take the Dasond out. But on the monthly basis, you can, whatever you bring home, let's say you're bringing home 5,000 a month for your family and you're showing the loss in your business, but you're still bringing 5,000 home. Consider that as your income. अगर आखिर में वो loss भी है आपका business के अंदर, let's say at the end of the year you really did not make $60,000, but you gave Dasond on $60,000. I think you should feel good about that. Like I said, the Dasond is a love between the Murshid and the Murid, and Murid should not feel that कि मैंने ज़्यादा तो नहीं डाल दिया है. You should always think कि कहीं मैंने कम तो नहीं डाल दिया है. If that is the case, then you always be safe. The other thing that normally people use, especially if they have stocks and bonds and 401k and 529 and saving accounts and they get interest. When do we give Dasond on that interest? Answer is very simple actually. Remember, हमारा मज़हब इतना मुश्किल नहीं है. It's not hard to follow our religion. Whenever you receive the income, that's when you put it. That's all. If you don't receive the interest every month, you're going to receive when it matures. Or when you stock and bonds, when you cash. You invested 50,000, you receive 60,000, there you go. It's very simple. But if you feel that I wanted to go ahead and give Dasond today, go right ahead. हमारे यहाँ कोई limitation नहीं है कि आज आपको ये करना है या कल आपको करना है. Allah has made, Imam has made our religion really, really easy for us to follow. He is not making hard for us to follow our religion. It's not that hard. And we can do that by a very simple calculation. And then sometimes I even recommend them, if they really wanted to, sometimes they are worried, what about if I don't put enough? I say, keep account of it. Just like you keep account of anything and everything. If you even do the budgeting of your groceries, I'm sure you can keep a record of how much income you are or how much money you're bringing home. I'm still talking about the business people. You can keep a record कि एक महीने 5,000 लाया, next month 6,000 लाया, एक महीने 4,000 लाया, and then you keep a record of it and you give Dasond. You can just write it down. Okay, I brought 5,000 and that's how much Dasond I gave. At the end, if you feel, always go on the side of putting a little bit extra than not giving enough. Because remember, the income that you have, it was never yours. The entire money, the lump sum money that you are receiving from Allah as a rozi, it was never yours. He has given you 100%. So instead of looking at that you are giving 12.5%, how about you say, I'm going to keep 87.5%. Whatever he gives you, keep 87.5%. How easy that would be, right? Now we know how to calculate that because we can keep 87.5%. Easy to calculate, right? But does not matter how you see it. You can do that. ये तो हमने पैसों की दसों के बारे में बात की. But this is not our subject today. Our subject of Dasond was not this. We normally think of Dasond as Dasond on our money earning. And we cover two kind of earning. One that you earn, meaning जो भी आपको पैसे मिला, and one which you received in the part of the interest income or the profit income. For example, आपने घर लिया 5 लाख का, 10 साल के बाद आपने उसको 6 लाख का बेच दिया. So you had an income of 100,000. So those are not considered as normal earning per se, but still that is your earning because you made some profit. So the name changes from earning to the profit or earning to the interest. But if you have something, then you have to give the son on that too. Okay. Remember, आज के ज़माने में compared to previous times that I was studying in one of the classes, nobody is going to come to your home. Mukhi Sahib not going to call you on a part and say, how much, show me your paycheck, how much you are earning. Did you put Dasond last month, or did you put Dasond today, or did you put Dasond last year? I gave one of the example few classes back, and I'm going to give another example. Back in 60s and 70s, so now I'm not talking about 100 years back. अगर आपको शादी करनी है, if you're going to marry, or if you die, you know what was the first question Mukhi Sahib would ask? Show me the register. Let's say if this family is giving the son. If they don't see your name in the register, and some of the older folks can vouch for me, they will not marry you in Jamathana, nor they will take you to Ismaili cemetery. That's how strict they were. And I'm not talking about too long ago now. I'm talking about 60s and 70s. 100 years ago was even more stricter. More strict. They would come and ask you how much you were earning. And you had to give the son on their earning. But today, it's not that. Because I think we have all grown up, and our modern Imam, Hazir Imam, is saying, hey, I'm going to treat you as an adult. You know what to do. I don't have to keep repeating myself and telling you, give the son and how much to give and when to give. There's another question that sometimes people ask, should we give this on daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis? Answer is same. How would you like to give? That's it. That's the answer. If I don't get one check a month, how am I going to give my son every day? But if somebody was earning every day, I don't know what business you would have, but let's say you're earning it every day. You have some kind of business that you earn every day. Then you give your son every day. It's very simple. When did you receive your money? On daily basis, weekly basis, or monthly basis. That's how you pay. As long niyat is there, the love of the Imam is there, that's what it counts. The niyat and the love. Not कि आप कभी डाल रहे हो, क्यों डाल रहे हो, कितना डाल रहे हैं. And remember, if we make a mistake in calculation, Imam is Rahman and Rahim, your niyat was to do good, and you did. He is Rahman and Rahim. I would not even worry about that part. Don't lose your sleep over it. Trust Imam that he is your father and he is very merciful. He is not going to punish for a mistake. Not intention, but a mistake. Because your intention was always to do right. And that's all it counts. Acha, aajaye abhi hum. Other than the son, other than money. You think there is the son for anything other than money? We just talked about 3 different kind of incomes. We all talked about money. But what about our other earnings that we have? What about our jism, जो हमको खुदा ने दिया है, हमारी सांस है, that God has given us? क्या हमने उसकी लसन निकाली? How about our time, 24 hours that Allah has given us? Remember, हमारा मज़हब बहुत easy है, and Imam had made it really easy for us to give. So we have a 24-hour a day. What would be the son if we wanted to give the son of our time? What would be the son of our 24 hour? How many hours?
3 hours.
3 hours. 12.5% is of 24 hour is 3 hours. Look at how Imam had made it easier for us. 2 hours in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. Now, today we do cheat a lot, क्योंकि 20 मिनट में जमा खाना खत्म हो जाना चाहिए. 21 मिनट हुई तो बहुत दुनिया इधर की उधर, राइट? या मुखी साहब 21 मिनट लेंगे, देन आई हैव अ प्रॉब्लम. पर अगर मेरे को बातें करनी है, then I can stay there for hour and a half. But Mukhi Sahib cannot take 21 minutes. You know? But we're supposed to be giving 3 hours a day to the Imam as the Dasond of our 24 hours. So what a Mu'min shakhs would be doing, a conscious person would do, if you go 15-20 minutes early, do some tasbihat, do the dua with the Jamaat, do some khidmat, or do some more tasbihat. And he will honestly give his 1 hour to the Imam. He can sit there, he can read Ginan, he can read Farman. You know, you can ask Mukhi Sahib to give you the Farman book, and you can sit there and read. Or you can come home and you can still give time to the Imam. जरूरी नहीं है कि हम जमात में बैठ के ये घंटा उसको देवे. What about you make a practice that before I go to sleep, I'm going to give half hour to Imam. Because in the morning, I don't get up at 3 o'clock. I don't get up even 3:30. So I'm going to just count between 4 and 5:30. That's hour and a half. Or Sham ko 30 minutes. That's 2 hours. I'm going to give 1 more hour. I'm not going to cheat Imam with my Dasond. Just like we don't like to think to cheat Imam with our earning and the Dasond on our money, how can we cheat Imam with the Dasond on the earning that he is giving us every 24 hours? Because that is earning too. That is our earning. But Imam has given us a perfect formula for that. If honestly you give your 2 hours in the morning and your 1 hour in the evening, you have given that 12.5% to the Imam as you should give your Dasond. That is the Dasond of your time. And look at how Imam has made it easier for us to give the Dasond of our knowledge. And remember, if you don't have knowledge, you don't have to give. Just like income. If you don't have income, how much Dasond would you give? None, because you don't have income. So if you have a knowledge, Imam says what? You have a time, give your time. If you have a knowledge, give your knowledge. So if you have an earning of the knowledge, then you're supposed to give the Dasond of that too. Don't keep all your knowledge to yourself, because that was your earning. फिर वो knowledge जो भी है, even a simple businessman who knows how to purchase a business and do a good business can teach somebody else the skills to do business. If there is a religious person, he can teach in REC center, or he can teach his family and children. Give your knowledge, whatever Allah has given you, give it back. Give it back to the Jamaat, give it back to your family, give it back to your fellow humans. But give your knowledge back. Don't just sit on your knowledge. You have to give that back to as the song. Now the last thing that is left is a spiritual Dasond. What about if you have a spiritual earning, which nobody knows that you have that earning? You have a spiritual earning, but आप किसी को बोल नहीं सकते हैं. How would you share that with others? Include others in your prayers. आपने कभी सुना है कि आपकी इबादत में मुझे याद रखना? बहुत कम लोग ये फ्रेज यूज करते हैं. Very few people use that. remember me in your ibadat. Why would I remember you in my ibadat? I should be remembering my Mola in my ibadat. What they are saying then, if you have any spiritual profit, income, then pray for me too. That's what they are saying. So what they are really saying, that I'm poor in the spiritual arena, and I see you as a ibadat guzar, as an abid. So if you are doing the ibadat, share some dua, some prayers, some good wish for me too. And especially when we go for dua, हम दुआ करना जाते हैं मुखी साहब के पास. How nice would it be to ask for the forgiveness of everybody's sin before you ask for yourself? पहले सबके लिए दुआ मांग ले आप. ऐसा नहीं है कि पार्ट पे खड़े करके मुखी साहब के सामने लाइन लगाकर आप दुआ मांग रहे हैं. I'm not talking about that. In your heart, while you are in a line, remember कि ये सारा काम नियत से होता है. Just have an intent to ask for the forgiveness of entire Jamaat's sin before you ask for yourself. Share your prayers with others. Share your good deeds with others. If you have good deeds, share with others. If you have a good ibadat, share with others. If you have a dua, share with others. क्योंकि जहाँ पर भी अर्निंग है, चाहे वो स्पिरिचुअल अर्निंग हो, चाहे वो इंटेलेक्चुअल अर्निंग हो, चाहे वो पैसों की अर्निंग हो, चाहे वो टाइम की अर्निंग हो, और अब आपका जिस्म, अगर आपका ताकत है जिस्म में, sometimes you have to do physical खिदमत too, right? किसी को हेल्प कर देना, किसी की मदद कर देना, it could be with your time or with your body. And if you can do that, you should definitely do that, because there is all your different earnings. जिस तरह से we don't not cheat or do not hold back our Dasond, we need to think of all our different earning, and we must give. क्योंकि अगर हम नहीं देते हैं, तो it will be just like we are holding back our Dasond of our earning. देना नहीं देना, इमाम भी किसी को फोर्स नहीं कर रहा है, and nobody is forcing you today. It's all up to us to either give or not give. If we give, the barakat is yours. If you don't give, then it's up to you. Imam is not forcing, and nobody is forcing here today either. So let's look at some of the references from the Quran and Hadith and other quotation from the AZIZ and Peace books. Yeah.
So the first verse from Quran is Ayah Tathir 33/33. And abide in your houses and do not display yourselves as display of the former times of ignorance, and establish prayer and give zakat and obey Allah and His Messenger. Allah intends only to remove from you the impurity, O people of the household, and to purify you with purification. Dasond is also part of the purification process for a Mu'min's soul, and part of the good deeds he does to get close to Allah, as it is mentioned in Quran 2:277. Surah 2, verse 277. Indeed, those who believe and do righteous deeds and establish prayer and give zakat will have their reward with their Lord, and there will be no fear concerning them, nor will they grieve.
So these two ayat, the very first ayat is called Ayat Tathir, the ayat of purification. So we have talked about the Girya Zari and Dua, was the way to purify oneself. But we saw in this ayat, the zakat is also a part of purification. How are we purifying ourselves? By giving zakat. Number one, agar some of the examples that we had used in our previous sessions, कि कोई आदमी है कि जो अर्निंग उसकी जो है वो ऑनेस्टली पैसे अर्न करता है, ऑनेस्टली पैसे अर्न करता है, हक हलाल का पैसा होता है उसके पास, but he doesn't give the sum. Does that हक हलाल की जो अर्निंग है remains हलाल? नहीं, राइट? और उसका हमने नेगेटिव भी लिया था कि एक आदमी है कि जो चोरी से या दूसरे वे से अर्निंग करता है, जो हक हलाल की अर्निंग नहीं है, फिर उसके ऊपर कितनी भी दसम डाल देवे, उसके ऊपर कितना भी बिस्मिल्लाह बोल देवे, उस पर कितना भी अल्लाह अकबर बोल देवे, वो हक हलाल का नहीं होता है. तो इट टुक टू थिंग्स, हक हलाल की अर्निंग, honest earning, and second, to purify that earning by giving zakat. It took two actions. तो यहाँ पर खुदा ताला फरमा रहे हैं, to purify yourself, you must do this thing, and zakat is one of them. क्योंकि जब तक आप zakat नहीं डाल देते हैं, आपकी दसम नहीं डाल देते हैं, प्योरिफिकेशन नहीं होती है पैसों के अंदर. अगर आप उसको अपनी फैमिली को खिलाते हैं, आप खुद खाते हैं, या जो भी आप काम करते हैं उस पैसों से, इवन के वो पैसे आपके हक हलाल के कमाए हुए हैं, लेकिन यू हैवंट प्योरिफाइड दैट मनी येट. तो प्योरिफिकेशन का फर्स्ट था. सेकंड को आप दोबारा पढ़ें, उसके अंदर देखें एक पॉइंट जी.
Chapter 2, verse 277. Indeed, those who believe and do righteous prayer and give zakat will have the reward with their Lord, and there will be no fear concerning them, nor will they grieve.
Right. तो यहाँ पर है, ये जो हम दुआ करते हैं हमीन व गमीन अपनी नादेली के अंदर, तो यहाँ पर आप देखें कि पहली शर्त रखी गई कि जो लोग ईमान लाए हैं, जो ईमान नहीं लाते हैं, meaning if you don't even believe in Imam, doesn't matter how much the son you give, it really doesn't matter. Because if you don't believe in Imam, you're just doing something because your parents did it, so you're doing it. But you really don't believe in Imam. यहाँ आप इमाम सुल्तान जी का एक फरमान है कि अगर आप मुझे प्यार मोहब्बत से दसम दोगे तो मैं आपसे वो लूँगा. अगर आप ज़बरदस्ती देते हैं तो आपकी मर्जी है. What does it mean? It's not going to do you any good. क्योंकि आपको बर्डन लगता है, दसम देना आपको बर्डन लगता है. Then it's not going to do you any good. ये कहते हैं उर्दू के अंदर, ये सौदा प्यार का है. You give this with the love of the Imam, not as a burden to him. And then he says, अगर आप ऐसा करते हो तो फिर आपके पास ना तो खौफ होगा और ना ही गम. गम होता है माजी का, खौफ होता है फ्यूचर का. If you are doing all this thing, you will have no regrets of the past, nor you will be afraid of the future, because you are doing the right thing. Ji.
At another place, Allah says, chapter 3, verse 180, and let not those who withhold what Allah has given them of His bounty ever think that it is better for them. Rather, it is worse for them. Their necks will be encircled by what they withheld on the day of resurrection. And to Allah belongs the heritage of the heavens and the earth. And Allah, with what you do, is fully aware.
See, यहाँ पर पैसों की बात नहीं हो रही है. Whatever earning Allah has given, don't withhold. Give. We just talked about the money, the time, the knowledge, the spiritual earning, whatever earning you may have, don't withhold. You have to give. Ji. And that's the farman just like that, I believe. Yes.
So, Farman by Hazrat Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Mawla says, both khums and zakat were paid in the period of the Prophet. The people of that time understood that these taxes must be paid for governing the religious rule, and it could not be governed without it. Madagascar, 8/6/1946. Then there's a verse in same context, chapter 8, verse 27. The khums and the zakat is mandated on us by Allah to be given to Prophet and his progeny. In the holy book of Allah, he warns us against the misappropriation of this mandate. He says in chapter 8 by 27, O Mu'mins, do not deceive Allah or the Prophet, and do not misappropriate the amanat in general. You know.
ये हमारी दुआ से दिया हुआ है. जी.
There's a hadith too by Prophet Muhammad. He says, the property does not decrease by the payment of zakat or khums, for the property does decrease when the zakat or khums is taken away from it. And then Qazi Nauman in his book says that Imam Jafar Sadiq says, none of the duties of Allah on men is more severe than the return of the amanat to him from your property. Many people are ruined by the neglect of this duty. See that you put back this amanat in the hands of the imam of your time. It is not a part of your property. With all this, if one does not pay the amanat and leaves it behind for his heirs, then he is the greatest loser. He loses everything. Not only does he lose his prestige, but he also loses his faith.
तो यहाँ पर आपने देखा कि समटाइम हमें सवाल होता है कि दसों हम जमा खाना में डालें या गरीबों को दे दें. Remember, Imam is the best judge and he knows what to do with Dasond money. We cannot decide on our own कि मैं जमा खाने में Dasond डालूं या मैं गरीबों को दे दूं. And that's what Imam Jafar Sadiq had said. Always give the money to the Imam of the time. क्योंकि Imam of the time is the only हकदार दसों का. दसों का हकदार सिर्फ Imam of the time होता है और कोई नहीं होता है. Or you give that to him and let him decide how, when and where the money will be used. Because he knows where, how and to whom the money needs to go to. Not us. We should not do that. So,
there's one more verse I want to share.
Okay.
Chapter 9, verse 75 mentions Sadaqah. It is mentioned in the glorious Quran, and of them are some who made a covenant with Allah. If He bestowed on us of His bounty, we will verily give Sadaqah, and will be certainly among those who are righteous.
Okay, so there's another question that sometimes people ask, and I think that's why this was the last reference. यहाँ पर आप देख रहे हैं word जो है सदका व खैरात. The son is not sadqa nor khairat. Okay? यानी कि your sadqa and your khairat has to be other than your dasan. क्योंकि जो आपके पास आपके ऊपर फर्ज है वो तो कर्ज है. You giving the son of the income that he had given you. There was his money and his rozi that he had given to you. You are just keeping 87.5% and returning what was his in the first place. Now if you feel generous, And now if you want to do a good deed, then you should do what? Then you do your khairat, your charity. So your charity comes after the Dasond, is not part of your Dasond. You cannot say कि मेरी Dasond $100 ड्यू है और $50 में charity कर देता हूँ, $50 Dasond डाल दूंगा. That's not your charity. Charity is on top of your Dasond, other than your Dasond. And so आपने देखा कि ज़कात के लिए अलग फरमान है, सदका और चैरिटी के लिए अलग फरमान है. And this becomes part of your good deeds. That if you want to do some good deeds, then you do the सदका and the charity. ज़कात जो थी वो फ़र्ज के अंदर आती है और ये on top of their other than फ़र्ज है जो आप अपनी खुशी से आप करते हैं. जी.
So I'd like to read some farmans of Hazrat Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah. May our souls be sacrificed to this Imam. Let's recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadi wa ali Muhammad. Mawla says, those who give 1 penny in this world, they will be rewarded 125,004 pennies in hereafter. And those who offer me with the true faith will be prosperous in the world and will get high ranks in hereafter. Bombay, 8th September 1885. This is a saying by Hazrat Ali. He is not a Muslim who does not make his income purified by giving the 10th part of his proceeds. Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah said in 1884 at Bombay that if you will give Dasond properly, the thief will never steal your belongings. Even there will be no damage. Rather, there will be plenitude and will get endless rewards and fruits in hereafter. Then he says at another place, why I do not put a trial upon you, and why I do not tell to offer namaz of 200 rakat daily, because the trial which I have put on you has not been fulfilled. That is to give 1 rupee out of 10 rupees. God does not care of the wealth, but a trial is laden, which you cannot pay, then which other trial be laden? I do not say that you forsake all worldly attractions. You eat, spend, use and save, but give the privilege to the Mawla. Munjevri, 31st December 1893. At another place Mawla says, O Jamaat, listen. Now all these facts with analogies and evidences from the books and the Quran are proved my privilege upon you. It is better if you give our privilege. Otherwise you will have to pay in the judgment day. Therefore, you take undue care in this regard and give our privilege or amanat. Otherwise, you will repent at large. Bombay, 1st September 1885. Another place Mawla says, the men offering Dasond should not be given to me from other materials. You import merchandise from outside and sell it and return the money to the owner of the merchandise and give me the Dasond from its proceeds. It is good to give me Dasond, and similarly you adjust your debts upon you. Hyderabad, Sindh, 2nd March 1990. Mawla says, if you worship for 1,000 years, it will not be accepted if there will be deficiency of the Dasond.
यानी कि दसों के बगैर इबादत बेकार हो गई. जी.
Then Mawla says another place, keep recognition of the present Imam, give Dasond to the Lord, the guide. If you will act alike, it will enkindle your hearts and will get the Didar. Zanzibar, 29th July 1899. Those who pay Dasond regularly, their Iman will be secured, and when they will perform Ibadat, they will gain benefit from it. Nairobi, 6th October 1905. I can share all these references. There are so many beautiful references.
We see how many farman of the Dasond by Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah compared to none by Hazrat Imam. Subhanallah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing.
So we'll stop here. So, if you have a question, go ahead. G.
So 2 questions. Something which comes up a lot, especially with younger people, but I'm sure this question has always been there, is you'll hear them say things like they're in such financial difficulties, so much debts, their family's not earning, maybe some tragedy happened, someone passed away, now that everything's up on the young sons to bring the money in, they don't have enough money to even pay the bills. How can they offer Dasond? Then they're told if you don't offer Dasond, then you'll have even worse position. But, and sometimes the answer is that, I know there's anecdotes from the past where your mom said, even if you have a little bit of bread, take a little bit of bread out and give back. They can say that in today's time, things have changed also. Financial responsibilities have changed. You don't pay your bills, your mortgage, you lose your house, you lose your car. Maybe it wasn't like that before, maybe it was like that, I don't know. But by paying this one, they can say that whatever they're paying, they'll be in a worse position. Physically speaking, immediately, tangibly speaking, if their car goes, then they can't go to work, right? If their car gets repossessed, then they'll be even less someone to pay. So then how would you respond to someone like that? They cannot see any way out. The money they're making already does not cover their responsibilities to begin with. So that's one part of the question. The second part is, so we're saying that Imam Sultan Masha had given us all these firmans, and Hashim has not, but the ethic is still the same. How can we fault anyone, especially new generations, who have maybe not the chance, or they haven't come to classes like this, but if the ITRAs and the councils are not teaching these things, and some of these are specific questions about how do I do this, and my business, and just all these things, how can you fault them for thinking like, oh, we should give, zakat to people who are in need, like beggars? For example, someone recently said that, she said, someone said, mashallah, our Jamaat in the United States is very wealthy, and they're all paying by their own, so our Jamaat is taken care of. I'm going to send my money to Pakistan, there's a Muslim families there, we send the money there. How can we fault them if they've never heard all these firmans and haven't heard anything? They just know a concept of Dasond, and they think that charity, how we mentioned the difference between Sadaqah and Dasond, sometimes they don't recognize it. They think the ethic is that you give. So if you give to AKF or AKDN, that's like Dasond. If you give to a Muslim charity, you're helping someone, how can we, because we have nothing to point to except for Sultan Firmans. But then the other problem now is that sometimes these Ithrabs also say that these firmans are no longer allowed to be talked about. AZIZ cannot talk about Dasond, that's why you don't hear them Jamaat Khana. AZIZ are specifically said they're not allowed to go into details about Dasond, which is why we don't have in Jamaat Khana very much mention about Dasond, right? So why is the reason for all this, that this concept of Dasond is just almost there in namesake? You mention every day, right, to keep our Dasond complete. But how and how to pay and why, what happens if you don't, it's all, that knowledge has been taken away.
So there is a same policy as the Imam. Imam is treating us as we are an adult. Right? Imam saying, you are adult, you know exactly what to do. And everything you just mentioned, my question always is to people who says those things, and remember and believe it, there are a lot of people, they would say that. We say, are you still eating? Or because you cannot pay your car payment, you're not eating anymore. They say, no, of course I have to eat. Well, if you can eat, then you have to give this one. Simple. If you can say, okay, because I cannot make car payment, I cannot make house payment, therefore I have not eaten for the last 30 days. But how can I eat if I cannot even make my car payment? How can I eat if I cannot make my house payment or my debt to the credit card? How can I eat? All right, that's fine. Don't worry about this one then. But if you're eating, that's what you just said. And this is the फरमान of Sultan Muhammad Shah कि अगर आप दसम नहीं दे सकते हो तो अपने खाने की रोटी में से क्वार्टर रोटी आप इमाम को पेश करो. So there is a time that a person cannot give the son. Remember, it's not just the money we are talking about. It's a love for the imam. So if you are eating, so let's say you're going to cook 4 rotli today to eat, give one to imam. And as for, remember, imam is not cruel to you. He does not want it to bring hardship on you. He does not want that. But then imam, in the same farman I'm talking about, Imam Sultan Basha says, if you even don't give me that roti, how can I give you barakat? So do they want to come out of their hardship or do they want to stay in their hardship? If they want to stay in their hardship, yeah, you don't have to give zakat or Dasond. So give me 1 second, let's read this. When you were talking about, you were looking at this one. All your answers are in this one. Ji.
Okay, let's recite the Holy Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah said, the soul is in your body, its exercise is ibadat. If you will not go to Jamaat Khana, how would the exercise of ibadat be performed? Get determined in your heart and become pure. How does man become pure? When eyes, ears, nose, mouth all become pure, then the soul can rise upwards. What big difference is there between your religion and that of the others? Think about it. Your religion is spiritual and that of others is physical. How great is the difference between the spiritual and the physical faith? If Mukhi Kamadiya will not explain that to the children, and if the spiritual knowledge will not reach their souls in childhood, then the physical religion, Jismani Deen, would get set into their hearts. Rajkot, India, 21st October 1903.
Does that answer your question?
It answers our question here.
Yeah, that's what I said. So it is not your job nor my job. Imam has given this job to Mukhi and Kamadiya.
And when it says childhood, then it's parents too.
And parents too. When you are children, your parents should teach you. And then this responsibility has put on Mukhi and Kamadiya. It is their responsibility to teach the Jamaat. If they don't take the responsibility today, it's up to them. I cannot force them, nor I'm going to go and tell them. It is, but Imam has put this job on them. There's another farman of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. In one place says, if anyone leave Ismaili Tariqa, half sin will be on Mukhi Kamadiya and half on the parents.
I'd like to read something.
So
if you don't mind.
the job is put on those two people, not on me or you. Ji.
So, there are so many knowledge in Ginans too, right? Okay, Mukhi's Kamya is not taught, but we listen to Ginan. Now this Ginan, it's in English written, so it's hard for me to read properly. So please, maafi if I do not pronounce it very right. Sawa lakh tiya pamsho, ane jeva dida hase dan. Jya nahi marshe, apni ek til, tiya Dasond dana phal. You will be recompensated in hereafter 125,000 fold of whatever has been given. There you will get no grain and water, even its wheat, but only the reward of the Dasond will be given. With me, Dasond is my privilege and should be given.
Ji beta, what do you?
Alia.
She really need to have something. Go ahead, please.
So I have like two questions.
Ji.
So one of them is that the song here, whenever I give it, Mukhi Kamadiya, they put it inside the bowl. But then when my daddy gives it in London, she gives it specifically to the custodian of Hazir Imam, right? So then when they're putting it in the bowl, then is it being given the song to Hazir Imam or is it?
Okay. So let's say there are different places and they do different things. I don't know how they do it in London. We've been there many times. I have not seen कि कोई ये कौन सा डिपार्टमेंट होता है
Huzuri department.
हुजूर डिपार्टमेंट वाला आके उधर बैठता है and they take the Dasond. I've never seen that. Okay. In the old days.
Actually, I think it's oldies.
In the old days, you normally would have to put Dasond in an envelope.
Yeah.
All right, and then there would be a person sitting there with a register. We were talking about that earlier. So if you don't put your name in a register and say this is my Dasond, then it would not be counted. But remember, we are children. When you're children, you have to teach them everything by the book. When you're adult, so what example do we use today? When you're children, your mom would say, Alia, get up, brush your teeth. Does she say that today? No. We are adult. So we don't have to put in an envelope and look for the person with the register and all that. We just give the Dasond. And remember, it's the niyat, the intention within you, that you are giving Dasond to the Imam. After that, it is not our job to see कि उसने bowl के अंदर डाले, कि उसने bag के अंदर डाले,
No, I was just
and,
confused. It's like my dad
or
was
once they get inside the room, do they separate the Dasond from the Kasaji? It really doesn't matter. All the money is belong to Imam. He knows what to do with it. Okay? So there was all time we talked
Bilkis
about.
has a question.
Ji.
Oh,
She had two
one
questions.
more question. So this kind of made me sad. Is that why did Imam say there was a time that he won't accept the song? So then, like, he's not going to take our the song, or like,
Okay.
he's going to tell us?
So we did not talk about that very much because he is giving the example. Don't get stuck in example. He says, today when I'm asking you to give me the son, you're not giving me the son. Tomorrow I'm going to say, okay, I'm not going to take the son from you. Then even if you cry, I will not take the son from you. Right? So just as a, let's say example, we do that with the children. Okay, again, same example. If you don't eat now, I'm not going to give you any more food. Go in your room. Right? Does mom give the child more food afterward? Can नहीं देती कभी भी. So why would she say that? To teach the children something. Right? So don't get stuck in example. Because remember, at that time, our Jamaat was still like a children. So Imam was treating us as children. Today he doesn't do that.
So in other words, if it is your question, the answer would be?
Yes, if that's your question, then the son is unconditional given to the Imam for the love and barakat of the Imam. Unconditional. If you're saying I'm giving the son so I can benefit from it, like tax deduction, then that's not the son. The son is unconditional. Sadaqah and charity is separate other than the son. So when you give to Argan Foundation, okay, then there is your charity and you should do that. Definitely. Definitely you should do that, but not as the son. And we had already talked about it. Some people would say, कि आज मेरी family में कोई बीमार है या somebody needs to go to school in Pakistan, India, so I'm going to send $50 of my Dasond to them and I'll give $50 to Imam. No, this cannot be part of your Dasond.
And I think it relates to the lack of knowledge about the benefits of Dasond. When we don't know how Dasond is going to benefit, because it's not physical. Unfortunately, our religion, we don't understand it, right? Our religion is esoteric, Batini religion. The Faida is Batini. If we don't even understand Batin, of course we want tax deduction, which is so naive, I would say. I don't want to use any harsh words, naive. You don't even know how much benefit you are getting out of Dasond that you care about this worldly money, which is it's mortal, it's going to finish. Life is not here, it's here after too, right?
Yeah. I want to add one more thing to the benefit. So you will see people like that. Even if they're giving money to charity, they don't want a tax deduction. Recently, I had sent a tax deduction to somebody for our charity. And of course, I misspelled his name. So I was telling him, I'm sorry, I just found out your name is not this last name, but this. So I'm going to fix that and I will resend that paper to you. He said, don't worry about it. I don't even use my, when I give my charity, I don't care for deduction. So don't worry about it. Because I'm not going to use it. Do we see that? So when you're giving something, do not expect anything in return. Because it defeats kind of purpose of it. Okay, you are just giving because it's tax deductible. But yeah, if that benefits you somehow, then do it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but don't solely do it for the tax deduction.